Well, hello everyone, back again on another small ride, and here to answer another question. Should you buy a Ninja 400 in Canada? Or maybe US too? First of all, you need to understand a few things. If you're someone who loves a cruiser, obviously then you're not going to buy a Ninja 400. And if you are someone who loves really dedicated sport bike, committed riding position, then again Ninja 400 might not be your cup of tea. So it's a between like it's more like upright compared to a sports bike, slightly bent down compared to a street bike with, you know, the single bar handlebar. So that's one thing. That's the position. I'm around 6 feet tall and I fit quite comfortably on this one. Given that I haven't done a very long ride in this bike, but I've done around 50 odd kilometers, I think 50-60 kilometers once, and the other time I did like 150 kilometers. And yeah, I've been comfortable on this one. No bad aches or something. It's good. Now the biggest question which people actually feel or like want to know when they buy a Ninja 400 is it good enough to, like, is it a starter bike? Is it good enough for someone who has been riding for a few years? Well, in my case, I have been riding for a few years, but I wasn't riding bigger bikes. I was riding something smaller than this. But for the last few years, I did ride a 900 and a 500, which somebody I know owns. So that was obviously bigger than this, but that was a cruiser, so completely different thing, much heavier than this. So first I would like to explain why did I buy Ninja 400. There were three main reasons for buying it. First of all, since I saw Ninja 250 a very long time ago, I always wanted to have a Ninja, always. So obviously I had a soft spot for Ninja. That was the first reason. The second reason being, I am a new rider for Canada. I'm not a new rider. I have 11 years of experience of riding, but in Canada I'm considered a new rider because I've got a new driving license, Canadian driving license. So if I was going to go with anything bigger than this, the insurance was insane on that, and I didn't want to pay that much initially. The thing is how it works in Canada. If you have experience, I think that's the same for US too. Like if you have few years experience, the insurance starts to go down, but if you're new, then your insurance is much higher. So that was the one reason to go for Ninja. So that was the second reason to go for Ninja 400, to get a good insurance. I didn't want to pay like absurd amount of money on just insurance. So that was the second reason to get the bike. And the third reason was, well, it isn't that pricey. I know a new one will nowadays will cost around 9 or 10 grand with all the taxes and everything. I got this one. This one is a used one. It had around 4,000 kilometers when I bought it. So I got a decent deal on it. Nice bike, nice color. Tires are in pretty good shape. So I had no issues with that. And maintenance on Ninjas are like the 400. I'm not talking about the bigger 4 cylinders or, you know, the 650s. I don't know about that. But on the Ninja 400, maintenance is relatively quite like it's not that high. Reason being, it's not something like really big. It's not. It has some tech on it, like ABS, and that's it. So it doesn't have like a really a gizmos or tech like, you know, traction control, all the stuff. So less stuff to go wrong. So obviously it's going to be easier. Even if something goes wrong, it will be easier to get it fixed. And obviously the bike, since the bike isn't very, like, you know, it's not very highly priced, or it's not a really powerful bike, so it's easy to like ride in the city and don't really worry. Like if I had something really pricey, really costly, I would worry about like parking it on the open places, like where you can't really have any security. But this, I don't really worry about it. It's a decent bike, it's a decent price. So yeah, those were the three main reasons I got Ninja 400. Now, should you get a Ninja 400? Depends. If you are a new rider and you are comfortable enough to ride on streets, why I'm saying that? There are some riders who love riding dirt bikes and they are very comfortable riding dirt bikes, but they are not used to riding on streets. So if you are used to riding on streets, go for it. It has got relatively low seat height. It's not very high, but compared to a cruiser, obviously it's going to be higher, but it's not that high. And the bike is comfortable enough to ride. It's not like full of power so that it will throw you away or throw you up or surprise you. It has got decent power, so usable power, I'll say. And then the other thing is, even with that power, you can go on highways. Like people do think it's a 400 twin cylinder, whether it's gonna go on highway or not. But in Canada, most of the highways have a speed limit of 100 or 110. And the day I bought the bike, I bought it from a different city, so obviously I did some of highway riding and I felt comfortable enough going on the triple digit. Again, it might be a bit scary for someone who isn't used to riding bikes. So if you get caught in crosswind, it might be slightly scary for you, but I've been riding bike my entire life and it doesn't surprise me. Even if there is a crosswind, I can just manage that. So it does go on highway. And I haven't done a really long ride, but 100 odd kilometers doing triple digit speeds was alright. I didn't face any issue with that. So in that case, yeah, it's good enough to ride on highways too. But yeah, I don't know if I will suggest it for someone who does really long rides, especially in the North American like roads, which are full of like high-speed highways and cars. So might not be your thing if you're planning to do a long rides. Plus it's a smaller engine, so if you're riding for longer roads, it might get heat up like compared to something which is really powerful. So you do not need to use the throttle that much. You don't use that much power. But even with this one, I don't think I was able to use the entire throttle on the highway. If I'm not wrong, I was on half throttle, maybe half throttle, and it was somewhere around 5,000-6,000 RPMs. Yeah, it revs up to 12, but I don't need that even riding on highway. So you can do that. Again, depends on users. Like if you are gonna do mostly city rides, ride in the city, go for occasional long rides, very good. Good on gas mileage too. Like yeah, you fill the tank, it's cheap on gas, so you can ride without worrying about like a gas. It gets you good insurance, cheap on insurance too. So that's something which, if you are like a new rider, you should think of that too. Because if you just go out and buy something, maybe a 1000cc bike or a 660 Super Sport, it does sound nice, definitely way better than the two-cylinder, but again, it's gonna cost you much more. So what's the point of getting a bike if you are just paying all the money in the insurance and fuel and payments? There's no point of getting that. You won't be able to enjoy it, especially in the market where you can only ride for 6 months, but you have to pay the insurance for the entire year. So those are the things you should consider, and if you are considering that, then R3 or 400 do fit your like criteria, I guess. And the thing is, R3 is a slightly smaller bike compared to Ninja 400, slightly smaller. I won't say it's very small, and given the tall frame I have, I felt more comfortable on this one. Plus the riding position is relatively comfortable on this one compared to R3. So yeah, those are the things you can consider if you're thinking of buying a Ninja 400. And if you have any other question, I'll just send it out my way. I just did a random ride, so thought of explaining few things, few reasons to buy Ninja 400.